This is a BMW R60/5 from 1972, a bike in desperate need of a second chance. Can the restorer bring it back to life? It was a huge challenge that the pros at Workshop Rebuild is ready to take on to revive a 1972 BMW R60/5. Workshop Rebuild is a well-known restoration outfit based in Alberta, Canada. Take time to check them out and give them a follow. In this video, we're going to showcase the restorer's exceptional talent and skills in restoring and rebuilding this classic motorcycle, from tearing down the engine to reassembling every nut and bolt, issues he discovered, process of restoring this iconic BMW Airhead. This video is packed with restoration tips and techniques and mechanical know-how. Wait until the end and see how this classic bike, after years of neglect, come back to life. 2 years ago, this motorcycle was in a really bad shape. Upon initial assessment, he immediately found a lot of issues. The drivetrain was worn, parts were rusted and faded, fender and tank were faded and damaged. But who knows how far this bike had really gone. The headlight bucket's electrical parts were completely exposed. The old broken fairing could barely stay together. Every part he removed has shown more issues. The chrome pitted, the metal dented, fender cracked, exhaust worn out. 50 years of wear hid so much. You don't see it all until everything is torn apart. When he removed the drain plug, he got some water, sludge, and a little bit of oil. Truly, the bike was in a bad shape. The first thing that was ruined was the old modified seat. It was too damaged to fix. Next up, he started working on the engine. With the alternator and starter covers removed, more issues were found. At the rear, the flywheel and oil pump are common cause of leaks on a 50-year-old bike. Lack of lubrication and poor heat dissipation made it difficult to disassemble some components of the engine. But thanks to his experience and some smart application of specialized tools, the restorer was able to remove them without causing further damage. With everything now disassembled, it was time to clean, repair, and bring the components back to life. He used brake lathe machine to cure noise and vibration problems. Now that the brake hub was fully rebuilt, it's time to pair them with the rim. Both had 80 spokes each, but the front rim was slightly larger at 19 inches compared to the 18-inch rim deployed at the rear. The restorer mounted the rims on a wheel truing stand to check and adjust the spoke tension. After ensuring everything was perfectly aligned, he examined spoke tension one more time. Make sure they are secured properly. Before they're ready for new tires and shiny chrome covers, he wrapped new sets of tires around the rims. A laser cleaner was used to rip off the first layer of dirt on the frame. Immediately, the restorer applied spot putty body filler to cover the dents. Then he followed up with some crisp sanding to create a smooth, flawless surface. The mainframe, subframe, and swing arm were meticulously cleaned and degreased, then given 3 light coats of primer for a smooth and even finish. The attention to detail is unbelievable. And I must say kudos to the restorer for doing a masterful job. He and the project he does is something you could watch all day. I am so amazed and I don't know what to say. Of course, as you know, classic bikes don't handle as good as their modern counterparts. So, precise adjustments and settings are very important in this process. This is what we love about this restorer. His attention to details and his deep dives into each process as well. A true professional who comes up with a plan. Execute them with precision. In the end, you see nothing but a breathtaking labor of love. Very impressive. Here, the revamped front fork is being connected to the triple tree. Then, the aluminum accents were installed, starting from the polished indicator light housing. Next was the swing arm, fitted with new tapered bearing and seals to enhance the bike's handling and durability. Although the gear teeth were still in good shape, the shafts needed a complete overhaul, and new sets of bearings installed on all ends. All surfaces were cleaned before putting back the gearbox cover. After putting everything together, the nuts were tightened just right, following the specifications. They were carefully tested how it all worked, making sure the gear shifted smoothly and the kickstart worked properly. With the frame and gear now reassembled, attention turned to the engine, which by the way required a complete overhaul. As you can imagine, sourcing for suitable parts was a real challenge. But the restorer did his best to ensure that all damaged parts were either replaced or repaired. This includes the crankshaft, which was revamped and installed with new bearings. The camshaft wasn't left out either. It was duly restored and fitted with brand new timing components. On the other end of the engine, new seals and bolts were installed, as the oil pump was restored and tested for functionality. Similarly, the tiny chain connecting the crankshaft and camshaft was aligned right before the timing cover was fixed. From there, the restorer turned his focus to the connecting rod and other components around the engine block, like the studs and pistons. After overhauling the cylinder heads with premium components, he bolted them into place and began the top-end assembly, starting with the valve cover, or peanut cover like the BMW community call it. The exhaust and intake ports were temporarily sealed with special covers to block out debris. Additionally, the rebuilt original Bosch starter was installed, and all damaged electrical components were either repaired or replaced. Everything was carefully shielded off with the cover, and a new R60 engine identification plaque was proudly affixed. The restorer started by securing the pinion shaft within the housing and installing a vintage stock ring gear. To ensure smooth rotation, new bearings were carefully pressed onto both sides of the ring gear. Then minor adjustments were made to align the gears. Once everything was in place, he sealed it all up with the cover and the final drive was ready to go again. All essential rubber components were replaced, ensuring durability and reliability. The rebuilt final drive was paired carefully with the drive shaft and the swing arm. As you can see, the stud on the right is holding the lower end of the rear shock. Installing the tires was a breeze. And yes, specialized high-load grease was applied to the final drive spline to reduce wear. Right before the bike was set down, the headlight bucket was fitted in between the support brackets. A little final adjustment was needed to align it properly, and the handlebars were installed. Then the center stand fixed, allowing this forgotten BMW R60/5 to stand for the first time in who knows how long. Here is a brand new Bosch decals coil for the ignition. Now it's time to connect the wiring harness. While this may sound like a simple task, it's actually a delicate process that requires careful planning and precise execution to avoid any electrical issues later on. First, the restorer connected the battery before running wires through the power flow, ignition, and other components. Each wire was checked repeatedly for proper resistance and firm connection based on the sample shown in the wiring diagram. New dimmer switch, high beam flasher, and horn button were installed on the left handle grip, while right turn indicator switches and a starter button were positioned on the right handle grip. In case you're wondering, that fancy paint job on the fenders was done by Baker Boys Designs, a local airbrushing service provider in Edmonton, while the hand-laid paint stripes were done by another local craftsman named Eric. This isn't just a restoration. It's a breathtaking labor of love for an iconic machine that had been neglected and abandoned for so long. For this man, restoring this BMW R60/5 wasn't just about fixing up an old motorcycle. It was about honoring his father and everything he has taught him. Back in the early 1970s, his dad started working at BMW in Munich, when they were making their famous motorcycles in bright, shiny colors. He always dreamed of owning one, but life's responsibilities made him wait. Now, after all these years, restoring this bike is his way of giving him the motorcycle he never got to have. From the first time he picked up a wrench to the final finishing touch, every step has reminded him of the lessons his father taught him: patience, hard work, and never giving up. For him, this isn't just a project. It's a way to thank his father for shaping the person he is today. Right now, the restoration was going all good and the restorer was feeling really confident about his skills. So much that he decided to leave his own mark on the bike by customizing the faceplate of the motometer. Next, he attached the bezel to the instrument housing. Then, he lowered the whole thing gently into the headlight bucket, securing it from within to ensure it is firm. For the finishing touch on the front end, he installed a Bosch headlight with a new chrome ring alongside. Other important and fancy accessories like a chrome headlight protector and two amber side reflectors. Two 26mm Bing slide carburetors and renewed intake tubes were installed on either sides of the engine. The freshly painted fuel tank was installed, complete with two rebuilt Carcoma fuel valves. After countless hours of work, it's finally coming together as the restorer starts to work on the fuel cap. It was clear that the final part of restoration was near. He added a new bench seat. With all fluids topped off, it's time to hear this bike roar to life. Will it run? Yes, the classic R60/5 is back, ready to take on the road again. This is absolutely a high-grade restoration, The quality of his work speaks deeply of skills and mechanical intuition. To the restorer at Workshop Rebuild, we say thank you for showing us your knowledge and passion. Thank you for such a very heartwarming story you shared about your dad. Truly, an excellent work and a pure joy to watch. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to watch our other restoration videos for more incredible transformations.